What's up, and welcome to the single player experience. I'm your host, Sebastion Mauldin, and in this episode, I'm talking about an indie game that you simply have to play if you're a fan of first person shooter campaigns and the Doom games. It's a game that I can make the argument is one of the best shooters of 2022, and it's a solid experience that you can get for around 20 bucks. So, what is this game and why is it a good single player experience? Find out which game it is right after the intro. DJ, hit the beat. This is the Single Player Experience, the podcast that helps single player gamers manage their video game backlog. I'm your host, Sebastion Mauldin, and my main quest is to help you manage your ever-growing video game backlog by letting you know which single player games are worth your time and money so that you can have the best single player experience. Now, without further ado, let's start the show. DJ, cut the beat. I swiftly dodged to the right and unloaded a round right into the demon. The demon's blood splattered everywhere. I stepped over its body while quickly reloading my shotgun. I shot two nearby demons and began to reload again. Move, kill, reload, and shoot again. This cycle is something that I've become well accustomed to. For you see, in this world, sticking and moving is the only way you stay alive. If you stop, if you make one mistake, the waves of demons will take you down. You are humanity's last line of defense. You are the last hope. So you do what you do best. You take the fight to the enemy. If you run out of ammo with one gun, you switch to another and you finish the job. Hell has come to Earth. To survive, you have to move, kill, reload, and shoot. It's a tough job, but thankfully, I'm damn good at doing it. So this story sums up the experience of the game that I'm going to recommend to you today. I know it sounds like Doom, but it's not. However, this game is a love letter to the retro Doom games. Let's dive into why you should check this one out. Have you ever wanted to play a game that has 2016's Doom and Doom Eternal's gameplay, but with the retro low-resolution poly art style? If you have, Prodeus is the game you're absolutely looking for. Prodeus is an indie first-person shooter that was developed by Bounding Box Software. In Prodeus, you are a cyborg and one of the last remaining humans. You're given the task to take down demons in front of you, and boy, do you ever. If you have an appetite for gory and bombastic violence, then this FPS is an all-you-can-eat buffet. So let's talk about the gameplay. If you play Doom, then you understand exactly how this game plays. For those unfamiliar, you're given guns and placed in a fast-paced war zone where it's good to have the mantra, shoot first or die first. For the most part, Prodeus does everything it sets out to do exceptionally well. While I would have liked some more enemy types, the ones we face off against are very well designed. The developers made it to where enemies can be splattered, dismembered, and each possess multi-death animations. Those details add a level of immersion and really help prevent the game from feeling repetitive. In shooter games, it's often essential for the game to feel right. There's an art to making that gunplay feel right, you know what I mean? The kickback, the responsiveness, the sound and impact all has to feel right in a shooter. Thankfully, this game nails each of those aspects. Every gun feels good to play with, and no gun really feels like a dud. I also want to give a shout out to the way you quickly reload every single weapon in the game. And that leads me to the overall plus of the game. The swift kinetic movements and the way this game always makes you feel fast, yet you're completely in control. Everything comes at a fast pace, but the game does a masterful job of making you feel like you can always turn the tide of every single battle. Another thing I want to shout out is the atmosphere and the level designs. They are absolutely top-notch. Even though this game clearly has that 90s retro filter, it still looks very detailed with realistic lighting and particle effects. I love how many secrets there are packed in every single level. It gives you something to really look for when you aren't mowing down enemies. I will warn you though, every level in this game, every single level is absolutely huge. It's very reminiscent of the lengthy levels in Halo Combat Evolved. For some of you, that might sound daunting, but the action and the exploration keeps the levels from feeling overstuffed and bloated. Another plus of the game is the solid level editor. On PC, you can dive right into creating levels for others to enjoy, and on consoles, you can download and check out those community-made levels. It's not a thin surface level creation suite either. If you can dream it, it's likely that you can create it with the tools that you're given here. Here are the flaws that I found in this game. First was the lack of direction the game provides. It's very, and I mean very easy to get lost. That's impressive considering this game has a map. It has a map included, but yet it's still easy to get lost in this game. The problem lies in the fact that said map is challenging to read. It's not the biggest issue. Don't get me wrong, it's not the biggest issue in the world, but it's one that plagued me nevertheless. Another negative I had with the game was the thin narrative. I get it, you don't play these types of boomer shooters for the story. No one picks up this game and I think I'm about to have a bomb-ass story. No one says that. But it would have been nice to still have a story-centric reason to invest in the action that's happening on the screen. I get it, it's not the type of genre, but I would have still liked to seen a little effort put into the story. Overall, Prodeus is a wildly fun time. It's a true love letter to retro shooters, and it's also a well-designed modern shooter game. There are tons of replay value here due to the game's insanely detailed and robust level crafting system. I kid you not, this game is so good that you wouldn't have guessed that this was a crowd-funded project. Seriously, Prodeus is one of the best shooters in 2022. This is definitely a game fans of the genre should have in their collection. In this show, we practice the 10 games backlog rule. In this practice, you log down 10 games. Those games are going to be your video game backlog. To be as productive as you possibly can be, we recommend that you only play 3 games at one time. One single player narrative game, one game that's going to be your chill and relax game, and another game that's going to be your palate cleanser game, which is a game that you play when you're not in the mood for your other narrative games. When you complete or get tired of one game, it leaves the backlog list. Then you decide which new game is added to the list, and which game on the list advances to your active 3 games. So, where should Prodeus fit in your video game backlog? This is a rare game that I think could fit in any of the 3 primary slots. You can play this game as your primary focus and mow through it in about a weekend. However, you can also play it when you want to just chill and relax, or when you need a palate cleanser game to play when you don't want to play something that's narrative heavy. Either way, in any of the slots you want to play it, Prodeus is a damn good time. So, that is the game recommendation of the week that you should consider adding to your backlog list. If you want me or my community of gamers to give you feedback on your backlog list, then join us in the Single Player Experience Discord server. Once you're in, feel free to share your video game backlog list, or talk about good single player game experiences that you've had lately. The link to join the free Single Player Experience Discord server is in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace.